Welcome back to Bimsy Styling YouTube channel. So in today's class, we are going to be learning the concluding part of this transparent overbust corset. We already made the drafting, so if you have not seen that tutorial, there's a link in the comment section so you can just do well to check out the drafting part of this overbust corset. So today we'll be learning the sewing part, and I'm going to be making it as explanatory as possible. If this is something you would like to learn, kindly stay tuned to the end of this tutorial, and don't forget to also subscribe to my channel. Give this video a thumbs up and do well to share with your friends. So guys, let's get started. So guys, from the last class, this is the exact point where we stopped, where I showed you how to go about layering your fabrics, that is the corset mesh and the tulle. So next, I have gone ahead to cut out other parts. This is going to serve as the lacing bar, that is for the eyelet stand. And then we have here the bustier part, that is the inner structure for the transparent overbust corset. And remember that I told you that I will also be making use of the ST. So what I did was to place the wording on the lining, and then I placed the ST on the wording. That is for the lining. Then on the main fabric, I actually used just the ST alone. So the lining has the wording and the ST, while the main fabric has just the ST alone. So this is exactly what we have here. So I'll just arrange it for you to see what it looks like. Okay, that's it on the table. So now let's set this aside and then go into the sewing proper. Okay, so for the back, I also made use of the corset mesh, just one layer, and then 3 layers of the skin net. That's the original skin net. So take note of that. The same thing which I used for the front was what I repeated on the back pattern. So I just thought to mention this because I have not showed you guys what the back looks like after drafting. So now I'll be starting with the inner part, which is the bustier that we cut separately, stopping at the underbust. So here is the fabric. So now I'll go ahead to join the side front and the center front together. That is the bustier, the inner part. I'll be joining it together on both the right side and the left side. So I'm sure we all know how to go about sewing our bustiers. So that is exactly what I would do here. So right now I'm done with one side. I'll repeat the same thing on the other side. I'll sew it down. That is the center front and the side front. I'll sew them together. So after I was done joining the center front and the side front together, I went ahead to notch that part, that's the curved part, so that by the time I go to the ironing table to press, I would have a very smooth curve, and then it will be well structured and well shaped. So the same way I joined this is the same way I'll be joining the lining. So now I will set that aside so that it can be properly pressed, so I can iron that properly. And so I'll be working on the body of the corset. So at this point, what I have here is the part that has the corset mesh and the 3 layers of our original skin net. Emphasis on original skin net. So guys, I would want you to take note of something, and that is for the transparent overbust corset bodies, you can actually make use of just the original skin net alone. And if you are making use of the original skin net alone, make sure that you are using about 5 to 6 layers of the skin net. That is, you are not going to be using the corset mesh this time attached to the skin net. You will just be using the skin net alone. But make sure you have about 5 to 6 layers of the original skin net. But then again, if you are on the big side, you're a chubby person like myself, please ensure that you use the corset mesh together with the skin net to be safe. Ensure that you use the corset mesh together with the skin net. Now, the skin net on the corset mesh will give you that skin tone effect, and you wouldn't have that shiny part of the corset mesh appearing on the bodies of your transparent overbust corset. So the skin net will help you tone that down, and you have that skin feel, that skin effect. But then if you are a slim person, you are a size 8, a size 10, or even a size 12, do well to use your skin net alone, but ensure that you have a multiple layers, about 5 to 6 layers of your skin net is fine. I hope we get this. If you have any questions, just drop it in the comment section. I'll be there to attend to it. So right now I am almost done joining the corset bodies together. That's I've joined this one side and I'm working on the other side, as you can see. So I joined this on the right side. Remember that the skin net is at the top, is the one at the top, and the corset mesh is under. So I joined it at the right side, as you can see. So after joining the sides to the center front, this is what we have. And like I said, I joined it on the right side. The skin net is the one on the right side, while the corset mesh is inside. So I joined it on the right side. So right now, I would also go ahead to notch. So I'll be notching it at the under bust and also notch on the curved part of the bustier. So I'll do this on both sides. So after notching both sides, this is what I have. And here also I have the inner, the part that we worked on first. So this is it. So I'll be going back to this. So here I have the lining and the main fabric, and as you can see, I have gone ahead to press, and you can see that is why it's sitting well already. So now the next thing I'll be doing is the bust caging, and that will be done on the lining. So here I have the lining fabric with me. So I'll go ahead now. So now the next thing I'll do is to mark out the lines for my bust caging, and I started about ½ inch below the armhole. I drew that line first, and then from that line that I took down like that, I will extend it to the under bust and then to the other side. So now I also went ahead to mark out other lines that I will follow through for the bust caging. So I want you all to know that for your bust caging on bustiers, there are no specific way that you can go about it. It all depends on what you are trying to achieve. The whole essence of having a bust caging is to have your breast area looking very firm and also creating a nice curve for your bust area, and so that you have a well-structured bustier. That is why we go about bust caging. So there are no specific rules on how to create the best kind of bust caging for your bustiers. So if you zoom in and check closely, you will see the pencil lines which I have there for the bust caging. That's the lines which I'll be following through to sew down my regally bone. So for the caging, I started from the line which I told you I came down by 0.5 inches from the armhole, and then getting to the under bust area, I tried to bend the regally bone so that I can have it curved in at that part. So I took it from that side to the under bust area, and then I'll just follow through like so carefully and take it also to the other side. Okay, so I am going carefully and then I'm taking it into the other side. I'm also going to bend it, getting to this part. I will also bend it just the same way I did on that side. So I'll bend it like so, and then I'll carefully sew down that curved part. And now I will take it also to about 0.5 inches below the armhole on this side. So this was exactly what I was explaining when I said you take it from that side into the other side. Now the next part I'll be sewing is the neck area. So I started from about 0.5 inches again away from the armhole, and then I'll follow through the exact shape that we have on that neck part. Remember that the neck area is curved, so I'll follow through that curve and then sew it down like so. ½ inch will be given as the sewing allowance which we added on the neck area. So I came down about ½ inch away from the neck, and then I followed through the curve of the neckline to sew down the other regally bone. So at this point, I'll also go ahead now I'll go ahead now and sew in another regally bone following the shape of the armhole. You can see that. So I'll follow the shape of the armhole, and then on the other side as well, I'll be following that shape of the armhole again to sew down the regally bone on that part. So right now that I have followed through the shape that I have for the bustier, I'll go ahead now and sew in other lines that I have for this caging. So the most important thing that I think you need to take note of is whenever you are sewing, you are doing your bust caging on a bustier, just ensure that you follow through the shape that you have cut out on your fabric. So the exact shape that you cut out on your fabric is what you should follow through to have a very good result, so that you don't eventually use the bust caging to alter the shape which you have initially drafted. So this is the exact reason why I first of all sew my regly bones all around the armhole, the underbust, and the neck part, so that I maintain that shape which I already have cut out. I hope we understand this. So I went ahead to sew on other parts. You can see it right here. So let me zoom in. This is what I have, and you can see that I still maintain the shape which I cut out. So at this point, I can just decide to leave it this way or just add up extra regly bones, because it's fine as well if I leave it this way. So what you just need to do is, whenever you're trying to create yours, just check out the lines which I eventually sewed down the regly bones, and then go ahead and use your pencil or whatever you're using to mark out the same lines on your own fabric, and then follow through that lines to sew your regly bone. So it's as simple as that. Just ensure that you are sewing it properly, and then you are not in a rush, because this actually needs a lot of patience as you sew it. So this is it, guys. And this is what I have after I was done sewing all the lines. As you can see, I have a lot of lines there. And so just like I said, take your time to also do this part. This is what it looks like on the outside. So the next thing I will do now is to give it a good press and also flesh it up with my fiber and air stay. So right now I've gone ahead to flesh up the bust caging, and then this is my fiber. It has been added to it, and this is what it looks like. So the next thing I'll be working on now is this part of the transparent corset bodies, and I've marked out the lines for my boning. As you can see, the chalk marking on the skin net. I'll be sewing my regly bone right there. But before we do that, I'll be wrapping this regly bones with my skin net. Yes, we'll be wrapping it with the skin net, so that we have that skin tone effect on the corset bodies. It is better we wrap it with the skin net and not the crepe. So to do that, so to case the boning, what I did was to cut out my skin net about 2.5 inches wide, and to whatever length that you choose. And then I went ahead to cut about 3 layers of this 2.5 inches net. And so this is what I placed together, and then you can see how I'm going about sewing the regly bone on the 3 layers of the skin net that I have there. So to properly cover it, you need about 3 layers or more to cover the regly bone. So right now I'm done sewing the regly bone to the skin net, so I'll take out the excess I have there, and then I'll go ahead to wrap this skin net. I'll wrap it around the regly bone. You can see just the way I'm doing it there. So I'll carefully wrap it like that, and then you can see that we have it covered. So this is exactly how I will be placing it on the fabric. So here is my fabric. I will then place it like so. So because this is skin net, of course, it has every tendency to want to loosen up. So you just need to sew it carefully, and then use your hand again to wrap it. Sew it carefully, wrap it, sew it carefully, wrap it. So you keep repeating this process of sewing. So you keep repeating the process of sewing and wrapping. So after sewing the regly bone on the bodies of the corset, this is what it looks like. This is the final result for the front. So here is the inner, and initially I showed you that I added fiber to it. Now I've gone ahead to place my hair stay on the fiber, and I've also given it a very good press. So this is what I have after placing the hair stay on the fiber and ironing. So this is what it looks like on the inside as well. So now I'll be placing the main fabric on the lining that we have the bust caging. So this is the main fabric, and then I'll place it this way on the lining. So to properly secure this together, all I need to do is to sew the two together at the underbust, just at the underbust alone, So I'll go ahead now and pin at the underbust, and then I'll stitch them together at the underbust like I said. So this is the process which I'm going through now. Just stitch on the half inch which was added to the underbust area. So after stitching them together, this is what I have. As you can see it. Now I'll go ahead and cover up the bust cage part. I'll cover it up like so. I'll match the lining and the main fabric up together, and then I'll secure it down with my pins. So after holding it down with my pins, I'll also stitch it together so that the lining and the main fabric can be together as one. So this is exactly what I would do right now. So right now I am done, and so I will just take it to the ironing table and then press it properly. So I've given it a good press, and this is it. You can see exactly what the two is looking like. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to place the transparent corset bodies on the bustier inner. So as you can see, I'll just go ahead and match up the two together. So you know that they have the same neckline, and then the armhole are matching and all. So I need to match up these sides together as well, and then hold it down with my pins. So at this point, you just need to work with your pins and also do well to stretch out the part that needs to be stretched, because of course this is a skin net, and then for your corset bodies to sit well on the inner, you need to stretch out some parts, and you need to stretch out and then pin. So this is exactly what I am doing here, and so this process actually took some time because it's something that needed to be done carefully. So I'll just need to continue to stretch and pin, stretch and pin. Every part must lay well. The corset must sit well on the inner. So just keep stretching it out and then giving it a very good finishing. You can see that I'm actually using my hand to push in the bustier so that the corset bodies can relax properly on it. So this is exactly why you need to go through this process. So once I have that part, that's the corset body relaxing very well on the inner. So I'll just keep it down, hold it down with my pins. So you need a lot of pins at this point. Just keep securing every part with your pin. At this point, I'm also securing down the underbust part with my pin, so you can see it. And then I also use my hand to push in this side so that it can relax well on the bustier, that's the inner. So you can see, just stretch it out carefully so that it can sit well, and then secure it down with the pin. So you can see how I stretch that part and then secure it down. So this was exactly what I was talking about when I said you should add 0.75 inches to the side of the bustier, that's the inner, and then on the corset bodies itself I added just half inch, because you will still need to stretch out the net. So this is why we did that. So you can see what I am doing here. So at this point I am done pinning, and you can see exactly what I have. Isn't this beautiful? Look at what we have on the inside, and this is what our front looks like. The next thing I'll be doing now is to stitch down the inner, that's the bustier, together with the corset bodies. So starting from the side through to the armhole, and then to the neckline, and into the other armhole, and then the side. So this is exactly how I will go about stitching the bustier inner and the corset bodies together, so that we have them together as one. So this is what I am doing at the moment. So guys, if you have watched this tutorial to this point and you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please guys, show some love and support, join this amazing family, hit on the subscribe button down below, and don't forget to turn on your bell notification so that when I upload another video you will be notified. So at this point, this is what we have for the front, and it's looking very beautiful. So now we'll have to work on the back. So here we have the corset already, and you can see it. So I was just about to start working on the back, and then PHCN took the light. So I'm heading to the manual machine now to complete this corset, because electricity would not hold back this tutorial. So as you can see, I already joined one side of the corset. So you can see that we have one side already joined. So I will take you through the process of achieving that for this side that we are yet to complete. So this is the back, and right now I've gone ahead to sew my regili bone, that is the wrapped regili bone. I already showed you how to wrap it with your net, that's your skin net. So was exactly what I did, and then I sewed down the regili bone at the center of this fabric, at the center, so you can see it right there. So that was the first thing I did. Now the next thing I will do is to work on the center back. So what I'll do is to open up this fabric which I already cut out for the center back, and then you know that I folded the fabric, so I'll make sure that the center back of my fabric, that is the skin net part, is actually sitting on the folded part, that is the crease line that we have on that folded part. So I'll go ahead now and remove the center back pin and then secure it together with my pins like so. After holding it down with my pin, I will then place my regili bone on the center back like this, and then I will stitch it down. I will sew the regili bone together with the fabric that I'm using for the lacing bar, and then I will stitch everything together just exactly what we have there. So now I would also place my regili bone on the other side, and then I will give about 3/8 inches as the allowance between the first regili bone which I have there at the center back and the second regili bone which I have here. So this allowance is just to accommodate the eyelets. So this is exactly what I'll be doing here. Right now I'm done working on the center back. So I have the corset bodies here already. So this is the part we just worked on. So I've closed it up. So what I did, I didn't know that I wasn't recording at that point. I just used the fabric at the top, closed it up, and then stitch it down. So that was what I did. So the next thing I'll do now is to join the sides together. That is the side front and the side back. So like I said, I placed the side together and then I held it down with my pin, and then I'll go ahead to stitch together on 1/2 inch seam allowance. And now electricity is back, so let's complete the back on the industrial machine. So here is where we stopped on the manual. So the next thing I will do now is on the seam allowance at the side, you know, we just joined the side together. I would also wrap my regili bone, and then I'll close up the side using my wrapped regili bone. So guys, we are almost done, and so I have come. So guys, we are almost done. So this is what the corset looks like at the moment. So the next thing I will do is to place my regili bone like so, starting from the tip of the neckline through to the armhole and then to the center back. And I'll be doing this on both sides of the corset. So I started from the center back. I'll sew my regili bone like so and take it to the neck region of this corset. So right now, this is where we are going to stop. I'll take it out and then I'll repeat the same thing on the other side of the corset. So once I'm done with this side, I'll go ahead and pipe the neckline and also the part we just attached the regili bone. So here I already sewed down about 2 inches wide strip of crepe fabric. So that was what I used. I sewed it down and then I'll be piping it with this fabric. So you can see I'll just turn in that part and then I'll pipe like so. So I'll fold in the fabric using it to cover up the boning we just attached to that center back, and so I'll stitch it like so from the center back, take it through to the armhole area and then to the tip of the neck that we have there. So this is exactly what I am doing here, so you can carefully turn this part. So I actually cut it straight, not on bias. So when you cut straight, you just need to be careful and just sew it gently so that you can have it lay properly. But you can also cut it on bias, but for this particular purpose, this tutorial, I cut it straight and then I'll be ironing that part so it can lay properly. So right now I've piped the two sides and then I am working on the neckline area. So this is it. So I have like um bulk of fabric there, so I used my scissors and then trim it down because I want that part to be as flat as possible so that the piping can lay and sit well on that area. So this is why I'm taking out this excess that I have there. So I'll go ahead and finish up the piping like so, just the same way I did for the sides. I will finish up the piping, and then I'll also pipe, once I'm done with this part, I'll also pipe the hem of this corset, and voila! Our transparent overbust corset is ready. So at that point, you can go ahead and attach your eyelet to the center back for lacing. Thank you guys for watching today's tutorial. I will see you all in my next tutorial. Bye.